Hitesh Eidnani, founder and CEO of Trend Tech Consultants, joining us from Calcutta, and Saurabh Jain, head fundamental equity of SMC Global Securities, joining us from Delhi. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining us today on NDTV Profit. First up, we've got a query coming from Manoj, who calls in from Mumbai. Hi, Manoj, what's your question?
I'm holding 1,000 share of Unitech and bought in the last September at the rate of 1,010 rupees. Now, can I look for the price to come and how much time will it take?
Right. Saurabh,
Absolutely, Unitech is looking very strong currently, and as you mentioned, real estate has started rallying in the last couple of months, 6 to 8 weeks to be precise, and Unitech, being the bellwether real estate, is taking part in that rally. It had seen a high of 543 in Jan 2008 and saw a low of 21 in December 2008. So it's had a huge crash and it started rallying currently. Currently it's around the 85-86 levels. We expect a 40 to 50% move from here in the next 3 to 4 months. So the investor should see the amount that he has invested and maybe potential 15 to 20% gains also from there. So my recommendation is a buy with a lot of upside in Unitech in the coming months.
Alright, let's bring in our next caller. We have with us Mr. Alok Srivastav, who's joining us from Kolhapur. Mr. Srivastav, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Profit. What's your question?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Srivastav, I can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
I have to buy the theater. No, but I have short sold theater at 328.
You've actually sold Bharti Futures at 328.
Yeah, sure. I made it short. Those quantity. So I was just waiting whether it would go down somewhere or not.
And we're talking about the September futures here?
Yeah, September future, yeah.
Alright, and that's a pretty big chunk as well. 328 is where the investor has gone short on the stock. It's currently trading at 356, so it's up 26 rupees, and it's a loss because the investor is on the sell side for this particular counter. Of course, let's ask our experts what is their view on this. Hitesh, what would you say on Bharti Airtel? Again, the investor is short on this particular counter. A good strategy, or would you say perhaps not the best time for going short on Bharti, because the momentum is pretty strong right now, so perhaps the stock may see a big momentum going forward and perhaps the investor could get caught on the wrong side?
Absolutely, Ashu. Bharti Airtel is very bullish as per our analysis currently, along with a number of counters in telecom like Idea Cellular. So we are in fact long on Bharti. We've advised a number of clients to go long on Bharti. My advice to the investor would be to cover a short as soon as possible. The overall market is bullish, telecom is bullish, and Bharti itself is bullish. So you are going against the main tide by taking a shot at these levels. Bharti Airtel was bearish for a very, very long period, and it has given a buy signal a few weeks ago. So analysis, it would head up to a level of 450 to 500 in the next few months from here. So the advice would be to cover shots and potentially go long in Bharti Airtel at these levels.
Well, a long call coming in on Bharti. That's, of course, Hitesh's advice on the counter. Next up, we've got Neelkant calling in from Mumbai. Hi, Neelkant. What's your question?
Hi, madam. Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, Neelkant.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Neelkant. What's your question?
Yeah, I am holding, madam, KS Oil shares around 37,000 shares at the average of 51.20, madam.
Right.
So what should I do? What should I do now?
Right, Neelkant. Hitesh, KS Oil's investors picked the stock up at about 51 odd rupees. The stock's largely been an underperformer. I mean, even in a market like this, it's done negative returns. What is your advice on this counter? Are you expecting the trend to change? What should the investor be looking to do? Should he just book his losses or hold on to it?
Samina, the charts of KS Oil are looking bearish currently. The stock saw a high of 128 in the early part of Jan, and currently it's been making a pattern of lower tops and lower bottom, which is clearly very bearish. The stock is currently around 49.50, which is very close to what the investor bought the stock at. So my advice would be to exit this counter and look at a number of other counters and a number of other sectors which are clearly in uptrends and which could give much more decent returns in the near to medium term.
Right. Saurabh, what are you making of KS Oils? I mean, is it something that you'd advise the investor to hold on to? Numbers have not been too bad. I know they've registered a growth of about 14%. Volumes are also looking pretty good. So the outlook, all in all, is pretty positive, right? What is your expectation? What should the investor be looking to do?
See, I mean, you're absolutely right.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Profit. What's your question? All right, I'm being told it's an email sent to us by Mr. Aparar from Hyderabad. He holds 1,350 shares of Andhra Bank that were purchased at an average price of 90, and his question is what he should be doing at the current market price. The stock's right now at 163, so his investment returns are pretty strong, 81% return on his investment. But more importantly, the stock's looking pretty attractive. Even if you were to look at the recent run-up, from a price to book value perspective, it's up at about 1.2 times. Saurabh, how are the valuations according to you on Andhra Bank? Pretty compelling, I would say. Do you think it's still a hold despite the recent run-up? Would you still remain what would you advise the investor?
Yeah, I mean, valuations are not uptrend. It's a very, very strong chart right now. The entire banking space is very strong. Andhra Bank has been seeing a pattern of higher tops and higher bottoms since March 2009, where it saw a low of 38. My recommendation would be to hold on to this counter, keep a stop loss of 145, which could be trailed up further the counter progresses further north, and ride the rally as long as it lasts. So my recommendation would be a buy at this level as well.
And that's the call coming in on Andhra Bank, a clear hold. Next up, we've got Mukesh. He calls in from Bangalore. Hi Mukesh, what's your question?
My question is, I've got Tech Mahindra 50 shares at the price of 712.
Right, Mukesh.
I want to be at a long term. I would like to know that whether it will reach somewhere 850 or 900 and by when.
Right. Saurabh, Tech Mahindra, I mean, whole coming in Tech Mahindra fundamentally. Technically, Hitesh, 850, 900, when is that possible on the stock?
Tech Mahindra seen a movement from 206 in Feb 2009 to 1150 levels in Jan 2010. 620 is a very strong support level for the stock, and I would be very bearish if it goes below 620. On the other hand, once it crosses 788, that would be a level where I would advocate going long. So in between this region of 620 to 788, it could be nowhere for a period of time. So my recommendation would be to exit at the current levels. The investor is pretty much at a break-even level currently, so he could exit and get into other counters. In the IT space, you could look at TCS, you could look at Infosys, you could look at KPIT, Cummins. But this counter, I would suggest exiting at these levels.
Alright, let's bring in our next caller. We have with us Mr. Jayanta Datta, who is joining us from West Bengal. Mr. Datta, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Profit. What's your question?
Hello, good morning. Hello, good evening.
Welcome, sir. What's your question?
I have 2,000 share of SRL brought at 142. My view is I am a short-term viewer. Whether I am exit discounter or hold.
When you say short term, is it? Are you looking at just trading opportunity? How long can you hold on to this stock?
My view is only 1 month.
1 month, okay. SROL. The stock's been completely wavered. The investor entered at 142. The stock's right now at around 130, so it's not moving at all. Today was slight bit of an uptick, but just a 0.5% jump on this particular stock. Is a very slow mover, doesn't tend to give any major good rallies on any even a positive day, but price to earnings it's pretty expensive. 35 times FI11 is where the PE is, the consensus PE for SR Oil. Saurabh, SR Oil, the investors, how are you looking at SR Oil? What are the technical charts telling you?
Ashu, this counter has been sideways between 115 and 174 for the last 18 months. Currently it's around 130, so the stock needs to move out of this range for us to give a definitive call whether it would break out or break down. We need to wait and watch. Since the investor has a horizon of just a month, my recommendation would be to get out of this counter now and look at other counters which are clearly in an uptrend to get that kind of movement in a 1 month period.
Alright, gentlemen, that pretty much wraps up the show. Thanks as always for joining us on Buy or Sell and helping our viewers make sense of what they should be doing with their investment. Before we wrap this up, I want to take your picks and disclosures. Hitesh, I'll start with you first.
I've got a buy call on KPIT Cummins. It's currently around 160 levels. Charts are very bullish. IT overall is looking good as a sector. The stop loss that could be kept for this is 150 with a target of 200 in the next 3 to 6 months. I've got a buy on JSW Steel as well. Metals are looking very strong and JSW Steel has given a buy as per our model. The current price is around 1200. We could keep a stop loss of 1100 with a target of 1500. I've got a buy on Shoppers Stop as well, currently around 650 levels. We could keep a stop loss of 600 with a target of 805. And finally a buy on Tata Steel as well, currently around 600. Charts are extremely bullish. We could enter with a stop loss of 527 and a target of 775 in the next 3 to 4 months. By way of disclosure, 10 consultants, me or any of our clients could have holdings in any of the counters discussed today. Thank you.
What about you?